I will too.
Nothing. So
Mine says live from New York.
See, now mine does. I was going to say mine doesn't again, but now it does. It just came on.
yeah, I mean, if I were Scott, I'd blame you personally, but you know.
I told Scott twice that it did not say live on mine. Twice. And he said, oh, it says it on everybody else's. We're going to keep going. So don't blame me.
I would be like, that's
very
even
funny.
more weird that everyone else's says it but
Right.
mine.
Really makes me think that we should probably start over, but you know.
He said to me today, I think it was in that message that I sent to you guys where he's like, oh, I wish I just signed out and started over. I'm like, yes, I know.
Yeah. Yes, that was in that message.
Yes, it was.
I tried.
Wasn't enough, Sal. Try harder, huh?
How am I not? What the fuck?
I need to turn the light on here quick.
Really thought this guy was done. This is starting to piss me off.
Hey, welcome back, Steve.
Oh, hey.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, guys.
So I got 4 eliminators, a Dynasty Best Ball startup, a SFB mock, and a draft going on. Not including this one that we're about to do, but that'll be over quick.
Yep.
I got a lot going on.
Yeah. I'm finishing up one auction.
Steve didn't want to hear that.
No. I am finishing up one auction. I have, let's see, 5 eliminators going on currently. I'm in Red List 2 auction, and technically there's another one going on, but I'm not involved in it because I don't have any money yet.
I'm happy to not be doing any auctions right now.
I'm kind of drained, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't stopped auctioning since the
draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm enjoying drafting right now.
Yeah, this draft that we're in right now, Sal is the first. It's the first best ball draft I've done all year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have done.
I've stayed away from it so far, but I know once I start, I'll it's gonna be a waterfall.
I have done 7. I've done 7 already.
It's not bad.
Now, the first one I did was way back on like NFC Championship Sunday or something when Matt Berry tricked me. Do you remember that one?
Right.
No.
I thought it was a $25 playoff game, and I jumped in it. It was a 6-person. And then as it comes up, I start seeing players that aren't in the game. So I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, my God, it's a best ball. It was a 2018 best ball back in February. January.
That's great. You deserve
that.
Let
me go look at that roster and see who's alive. Mm-hmm.
As long as you didn't have Hunter Henry, you should be all right.
Hold on, wait. No, I have Olsen, Graham, and Reed. It's a pretty good lineup, actually. I got David Johnson, Kareem Hunt, Devonta Freeman, Tevin Coleman, Tariq Cohen, and Chris Thompson. Got Odell Beckham, Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, Doug Baldwin, Amari Cooper, and Alshon Jeffrey. Oh, I guess all the teams look good. The six-teamer. Sex.
Whoa.
My family and I are looking for sex.
Whoa. You're having a sex team?
What kind of app are you on?
Hello. Play with my draft. Oh. Hey, I started doing all these text message alerts from MFL. Anybody do those? So much better than email.
No, I can't do it. I'll get them all the time. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, I get like 1 or 2 an hour from all the different eliminators and the fishbowl draft and this.
It's nice. It's nice for like trade proposals and stuff like that. You get them right on your phone quickly. But yeah, when I had it set up just for pigs too, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting shit's blown up all the time. Can't do it.
Oh no, but you could go in there and just check what you want to get text messages for.
Yeah,
that's right.
You can only get text messages when it's when it's your pick and that kind of shit.
So this this dynasty startup, I just made I just got somebody's 2019 first round for my 8th round of this year. But I'm trying to build young, so it didn't really bother me. But I'm up now. See who I got.
I legitimately have no idea how I'm going to fill out my roster in Red List. This is going to be rough. There will be a lot.
All right, Steve. I'm building young, Steve. So should I get Larry Fitzgerald?
He knows nothing.
Larry Fitzgerald, Cooper Kupp, Will Fuller, DJ Moore, Robert Woods, Devontae Parker, Calvin Ridley.
Start again.
I mean,
what were they again? All of them?
Oh, he's holding them up. He just wants you to read them. But you have to say something so your screen pops up.
No, just press my box and I'll come up.
Hello. Press my box.
I'm not going to do that.
This is awkward. All right, so Fuller, Moore.
I would probably take Moore from that group.
Parker, Ridley. Yeah, I mean, Moore's the guy if you're going young. Or Ridley. Moore's the guy.
I think I need to add wide receivers because I could take Aaron Jones also. It is running back premium. But no, my only problem is the 3 wide receivers that are on my roster are all off on week 7. It's a tough week. Okay, Steve's hitting the bottle.
I don't understand people. If you're in an auction and you pay a price for a guy, why would you ever trade him for a loss immediately after?
Who's that? Tyler Gunther?
No, well, yeah, he obviously, but in this red list, someone bought Barkley for, let me see what he gave him. Let's see. So paid $222 for Barkley, and 2 days after, traded him for $201. Like, just suck it up and deal with it, man.
Yeah, like what are you going to get with that extra $21?
Nothing. He's going to get nothing. I mean, he's got his 200 back, so he can bid on players on the board. So I get that. Like, just like me, I'm sure he's worried about filling out a roster, but I stick to the plan and know that I'm going to get garbage for the rest of my roster, and I'll fucking make it work. It's
definitely hard for people to accept that they won't compete, or to try and rely on filling out their roster with bottom feeder players, and and not have the studs up and down your lineup. Mentally, I think it's hard for a lot of people to get over.
Yeah.
A lot of people just aren't as mentally tough as you, Kevin.
That's factually correct.
Kevin is built for the long haul.
The auction grind.
It's really more just I'm used to losing, so
it phases me no more.
It bothers me. Not even
I built up calluses on my caring spots. That's a thing.
Your caring spots. What is that thing? It's an
an
actual thing.
Can we not talk about that? I don't even know what it means. I don't want to know what it means.
No, please go forth, Sal.
Can we start the show with that?
Your heart? Oh. It's your
heart?
I
don't want to have to explain what the caring spots are.
I assumed we just started. What? Now we can't.
No, we can't talk about that at all. But if it has been more than 4 hours, Sal, you should see a doctor. So
if you're from Boston, it's what they say. You got your hat on. You sleep.
You got your hat on. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's all about hot.
I'm smart.
You got a huge hat on you.
I'm using all of this. Just did go.
What?
Huh?
It's garbage.
It's garbage.
Does anyone have anything an amusing way to start the show this week? I used up my cat story, so
we've already drained that well.
Yeah, so that's out. I mean,
here we go. I got it. Hey Sal, I heard you on the Bull Rush last night.
Oh,
You dipshit.
I think we're not starting with that. Let's not.
The Bull Rush wouldn't have aired for another 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah. I see.
Actually, it would have aired.
Plus,
it would have aired
Steve,
next-
you really
next
want
week.
Scott to hate you more?
No,
I mean, do you need that kind of hatred?
no, I don't. I actually, I
So,
am.
all right, guys, I was going to come in tonight and basically let you guys know that I did the Bull Rush last night, and it was wonderful and amazing. It was everything I ever dreamed a podcast would be, and I couldn't possibly continue on with the FLAFFL House because it just would never feel the same. And unfortunately, after 3 hours of recording last night, we were going to have 3 separate episodes. One where Dynasty Frank and I just went all in on Italian Americans, the mafia, and Goodfellas.
Wait.
And,
You're Italian?
Scott, yeah, you know, me. Got a little bit, and then Scott reaches out to us this morning to let us know there's 6 minutes of available footage. So it did not record, unfortunately, and
So you're back here with us.
it was a phenomenal show, if I don't say so myself.
No, I mean,
it was really.
that he could get. Was it a good part of the 6 minutes or?
So the 6 minutes, unfortunately, was before Ryan had even made it onto the show. it was just basically talking in general. So no, unfortunately, it was not. And I would like to let them know, and I'm sure Dynasty Frank and Ryan are definitely not listening to this. Scott might be. We played 2 games too, and I won both of them.
I mean, it's sounding more and more made up. I'm not gonna lie. It's sounding more and more made up.
You'll never know.
You know what this means though? Because your episode's never gonna air, he's gonna have to have Steve on to represent Falafel.
That's right. That is correct.
Hell,
Which
just
like
freezing over.
which could just be like 30 or 3 hours of him just beating Steve down. Which
I don't know if you guys could see that from where you are, but look out my window. A pig
I'm
just
sure you would
flew by.
enjoy that.
The pig just flew by. Yeah. Well, that's too bad. I actually was looking forward. I knew you guys were doing the Goodfellas episode. I was looking forward to that because I do think that would be very interesting, given your both of your locations and what I believe to be mostly made up Italian background.
Turns out Frank and I might we might actually be in the mafia somehow.
I'd believe
After
that.
some conversation.
I actually could have been a very low level mafia family myself. I don't know if you knew that, Sal.
Wow,
Back in-
really well. I mean,
Please carry on. You're gonna have to expand on that a little bit.
So back in the old days.
Speak into the pocket.
and here Kevin is telling us that he used his only story he had last week with the cat.
That's it.
He's
The cat
got nothing
story.
else.
That's all I got. I got nothing else.
Oh yeah,
so,
I was almost in the mob.
so back in the old days in the town that I grew up in, which is Mansfield, Massachusetts, which I don't know if you know much of, you guys know where Foxborough is, obviously, because that's where the Patriots play. But Mansfield is the next town over. It's very much pretty much the midway point between Providence and Boston. And for some odd reason, a lot of Italian Americans settled there back in the mid-century area. So my grandfather, being one Italian American himself, ran a small barbershop in town, and he had some characters that occasionally frequented his barbershop. So at one point, apparently, this is the story I'm told. I was not there, but at one point he goes to my dad and asks him. He says that, hey, he knows some guys that were looking for someone to drive them around, and would he be interested in that type of role? My dad turned it down. I have no idea why. I have no idea what the rest of the story is. I'm sure there's more to it, but that's how I missed out on being a mob boss.
That's close. You were
Wow,
close.
hey, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
I'm sure it was just a simple bookie, to be quite honest. I wanted him to make runs for him, but I do know that it was there was some form of connection somewhere along the line there, and I missed out on that. So,
And this would have led to you being a boss, from what I understand.
yeah, well, obviously,
Naturally.
with my skills and talent, I would have risen through the ranks. My ability to kneecap people is it's just
Wow.
unmatched.
Wow.
I've done a lot of kneecapping.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't guess that from your face.
It's completely untrue. I've never.
Yeah, most of the kneecapping work he's done with his face, Steve. He's taking kneecaps.
That's right, that's right. Hey, you know what though? If they hit you in the right spot of your forehead, sometimes it hurts them. Just saying.
Right. So yeah, there's not really a lot of football news, I guess.
No, there is not a lot of football news.
False.
Oh, false. What news do we got?
You want to tell me about Andrew Luck's balls?
You know it. He threw a high school sized football this week, a couple yards horizontally down the field. It was mediocre at best.
It was glorious.
But
you know what though?
Seems to be very happy.
You know what the best part about the whole thing of Andrew Luck throwing a football though is that Sal's bit got robbed. That's the best part about it.
Did you hear that on Mike and Mike in the morning?
Made a joke about the whistling Nerf ball, and Mike and Mike stole it.
Mike and Trey, I guess it's called.
Sorry,
now,
Trey and
right?
Mike. Yeah.
Golick and Wingo.
Golick and Wingo.
Golick and Wingo, those pieces of crap.
I appreciate that.
Literally, almost word for word, like we said on our podcast last week, literally said it on Tuesdays mornings. Golick and Wingo. I'm sure that's your real name, Trey.
It's because clearly they're fans. Obviously, they listen. There's no question about that.
I always liked Big Mike too.
Not anymore. This ruins it.
What about Little Mike, who's now like the morning ESPN guy? What do you think of that?
He's bigger than Big Mike.
He is bigger than Big Mike now.
Yeah, he does the morning show right before them, and then he's on the show with them, right? So, it's one big.
I don't think he's on the show with them. He doesn't go on the show with them, does he?
Yes, he does. Try listening.
Nah.
They're all on there stealing my bits. All three of them.
Hey, listen, the Patriots signed another running back this week again.
Stephen Ridley.
James Devlin's back. Nice fullback. So,
Nice.
If Adnan Verk says one of my lines, I'm going to kick his ass too. I'm sorry.
What?
He works for ESPN.
We're just back on you.
He's gonna have a hard time letting this one go this episode. I think
this is gonna take a while. I shouldn't have brought it up.
I've got a question for you guys. Off season, slow time. Some camps are going on. You got some players. You see some videos. Players are catching balls like they're supposed to. They're running. They're pushing some sleds around. It's all fun. But there have been a few stories about a few connections that are emerging. And I want to know which one you guys feel is most important.
Let's get it on.
Right? Wow.
No? What
kind Not that kind of connection. Different connection.
Got it. I mean, hey, we don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, what they do
You're not there.
on their own time is fine. But
exactly. The first one.
Not that
Alex
there's anything
Smith.
wrong with that.
No, not at all. Alex Smith to Jamison Crowder is the first one. Then we've got Pat Mahomes to one Sammy Watkins. Everyone loves Sammy Watkins so far. And then we've got, of course, Blake Bortles to Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Which one of these hookups are you looking forward to next season most?
Kevin never liked Crowder.
I love Crowder this year. Crowder's back. He's on my list. He's a guy that I've seen fall in drafts.
Are you claiming him as one of your guys this year?
Yeah, now he's my guy.
Oh, hey.
Say
I have him on the
Crowder.
roster somewhere.
Say Crowder.
Hey.
You're going to have to try to buy him off of me. Power hungry for sale.
Oh, I'll buy him off you. I need more players. I need more NFL starters in that league.
How's this for a bad deal? Matt Price last year gave me, I think, $100 and Crowder for Des Bryant.
Ooh.
Not as bad as the other league where John Bosch gave me Baldwin and money for Des Bryant.
You also gave me Jacoby Brissett for $5 in that league. So
who? Never heard of him.
Yeah, 2 quarterbacks.
Got Andrew.
He's the starter for the Indianapolis Colts this year.
Remember that guy?
Andrew throwing high school footballs. Anyway, from that group,
I'll tell you what, Jacoby Brissett throws the Duke. That's for sure.
Duke.
Touching it more than Luck is.
I think of those out of those groups, Steve. I am most interested in Mahomes and Watkins. Yeah, I was a big Watkins fan his first season. I've been scared off of him ever since. But maybe he's going to find a nice home in Kansas City, really settle in there. I'm a big Mahomes fan, so I as much as I hate the fact that he plays for Kansas City, I'm a fan of him as a player. So I think that's the most interesting one. I did see the story about Austin Seferian-Jenkins going to be an integral part of the Jacksonville offense. I'll believe that when I see it. Not that, it's not possible, but, you guys like to break Blake's portals. So I think Watkins is the one.
Our good friend Zach Reed earlier today from the Dynasty Dummies posted something on Twitter regarding a little poll someone put out there for Sammy Watkins versus Tyreek Hill. I'll tell you, personally, I'll pass on both because I'm not a big fan of either of them. But that's what makes me the most nervous about Sammy Watkins. Otherwise, I think he would be my favorite connection that you're talking about on this list as well. But I think that those two are going to kind of cancel each other out a little bit. And I'm not 100% certain there's just, with those two, with Kelsey, I'm a little nervous about the overall number of targets that Sammy's going to get. And we saw what he did with only 70 targets last year. Obviously, Mahomes has a bigger arm than Goff, so you got to figure he's going to get downfield a little bit more. But it just makes me a little bit nervous between the two of them. I don't know which one's going to be the guy. So I would lean toward Alex Smith and Crowder myself because I think that Crowder fits Alex Smith's game perfectly, and I could see him easily catching 100 balls this year and eclipsing 1,000 yards. So that's the one that excites me the most because you can get Crowder a lot later than both Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins, and you can save that second or third round pick on a running back and then take Crowder later, and I think he'll be happy.
I like all the points you made, especially since it just means that Mahomes himself is in line for good things with all those weapons. So
he's a top 10 quarterback then, yeah, easy.
Mahomes?
No,
I would take him as a this year in fantasy redraft. I would take him as a top. I'm going to say a top 12 quarterback.
Really?
He is like
right on the floor, Steve.
He's like number 6 or number 7 off the board in Dynasty right now.
I was just
he's definitely top 10 in Dynasty.
I think 12's definitely a possibility.
QB1. I say QB1.
I would say if I had to bet this one, I would go against it, but I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. There are other guys that I like better on this list or on the list of people. So,
he's being drafted
Jameis Winston,
QB 13 right now in best balls.
Let's go, Kevin. Ready? Jameis Winston or Pat Mahomes?
I'm going to take Winston.
All right. How about Mariota or Mahomes?
That's close for me. They're probably right around the same spot. I'll lean towards Mariota because of the rushing ability.
Andrew Luck or Pat Mahomes?
I'm taking Luck. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but
no, I have Luck. I've been taking him in a lot of places. They don't try and it's my guy, but I'm just kidding.
Oh, Luck's your guy now. I only have whatever roster. That's all right. He's your guy.
All right, last one. Dak Prescott or Patrick Mahomes?
I'm probably gonna take Mahomes there. But again, I think Prescott's probably 15 or later in this season. Long term, I still like Prescott. I think they'll add some weapons. I do like Gallup, but I think it'll take a year or two for them to get those receivers ready. So, but I think this is going to be a down year for him.
In Dynasty, I mean, everybody's off the Dak bandwagon. In Dynasty, let me take a look real quick at his 8.
Right now, DLF ADP for June. I'm sorry. Wait, that's rankings. Hang on.
For QBs, Dak Prescott is number 20. He's the 20th quarterback in June ADP in Dynasty, and Patrick Mahomes is 8th.
Where's Trubisky in that?
That's nuts to me. 18th.
Trubisky is 18.
Wow.
So in a Dynasty league, there's no way I'm taking Drew Brees over Dak Prescott.
No, that's got to be people who are drafting for, now, right? That are mixed in there.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it's not a ton of data. It's 6 mocks.
6 mocks. I get it in a startup. If you're going all in, maybe you take Breeze and Brady, and you try to take some rookies later if you can. But I don't know. Dak Prescott's going to be better than the 20th ranked dynasty quarterback in my mind. Jimmy Garoppolo all the way up to number 5.
He's number 5. Just insane.
Love it.
I love it. I love it. It's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
Good stuff today. Good stuff.
I think for tonight, we're going to do a little best ball, right? Now that we've gotten the news out of the way.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, sir.
And if I'm correct, Steve, you're running out of time on this pick.
I am.
We set this up, and you're running out.
There was a little bit of panic to get started here.
There's a little
and then
panic.
we realized it was a
So-
slow draft. So
It is a slow draft. We set up a 3-person best ball draft. So take the 3-person, for what it is, and remember that when we're making these picks, there's only 3 of us. It is on the draft app. It is a snake draft. Steve has the first pick. Sal will go second, and I will go third. And we will, for those of you who haven't played on the draft app, it's 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a tight end plus a flex, which can be wide receiver or tight end or running back, I believe. Still, did they add the running back feature? Used to, yeah. So the scoring is half point PPR, I believe. So
yep.
That's the scoring. So that's the format we're in. It is a slow draft, so we'll be able to talk about these picks a little bit as we go. And Steve, are you ready to kick it off?
I'm not. I'm going to need a few more minutes to think this pick over.
Really? No. It's only been going for 30 minutes.
I know. I think that's I'm going to be going with Todd Gurley, who I think is pretty much the consensus number 1.
Yeah, no, we have to address that because you've gone on and on about how it's Le'Veon Bell for you.
Yeah, in your own words, Le'Veon Bell is going to be the number 1 this year.
And I do love Le'Veon Bell, and I'm going to have Le'Veon Bell in multiple spots, but I don't feel
not here where you screwed me by taking.
Not here right now where it's funnier that other people like him more and want him more, so I could go ahead and take him in a spot where I got the value. I got the first overall pick. Gurley's not going to fall very, very often because everyone wants him number 1. So I'm going to take him here. And Sal, I just gave you the best running back. Why are you so mad? Why are you mad, bro?
Yo, bro, listen, bro. All right.
Things Sal should never say. Add that to the list.
Todd Gurley is
getting caught between accents here.
Hey, ya, bro. Hey, bro.
What happened there? You went like,
hey.
It went from like Hawaiian to like accountant. What?
How you doing, bro? All right, so Todd Gurley for me will be first pick every time. We have this discussion with Kareem the other day in the FLAFFL Dynasty chat. Big shout out to Kareem, who keeps missing our podcast, doesn't realize that they're there waiting for him. So
he's asking where we've been.
He got to listen to last week's podcast
right in your feed
today.
Right in your feed, bro.
So Kareem is all about Zeke Elliott being the number 1 overall player this year. I can't see it because I just don't think he'll get the reception value that the other guys will be getting. I'm going to take Le'Veon Bell here just because, he should be the number 1 overall back. He should be the number 1 overall back if he doesn't hold out and he doesn't have the injury issues. So I'm going to select him and be happy with him. But my number 3 pick would be David Johnson, not Ezekiel Elliott, as the ADP shows. Zeke over David Johnson.
I agree with that.
So you would take Zeke here if you were me.
No, that's not what
I would take. David Johnson.
You would take David Johnson. I see. Yes, that is an interesting method, and that's actually who I'm going to take. It's a no-brainer for me. I'm taking David Johnson. Ultimately, here, it's interesting because in a typical format for best ball, if I had the 3rd pick and I knew, right here, I'm going to take Alvin Kamara because I like the upside of Kamara. I think it's going to be interesting because last season may have been his best season. It was incredibly efficient. we'll see if he can do it again and match it. But I have high expectations for him. I think that he can come close to what he did last season. Maybe he's a little down, but I think he's a safe play because he's going to get volume. He's going to get the work with especially with Ingram out for the first 4 games. I don't think they're going to overwork him. I think they're probably being honest about that. But I do think he's still going to he's going to get at least as many touches as he did last year. He's active in the passing game, so you'll get the PPR on the half point, reception. So I'm taking him here. But if it were a normal draft, I may consider taking a wide receiver at that spot because you have to start more wide receivers than running backs in this. 3 wide receivers is the required start. And, with a 3-person draft, I know I'm still going to get talented wide receivers, so I don't have to worry about that so much. So just so people are out there who are doing 12 teams, 10 teams, whatever, I may not double up on running backs. I know that's been what people have been doing lately, but I may take a wide receiver just because of the starting requirements.
Clearly, you're not scared off by Terrence West.
No,
I don't know.
No. Although I do recall, I'm pretty sure we could pull up an old episode where you say Terrence West is your guy.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think we have multiple takes of that.
Still own him in Capitalist Pigs too, and very happy that he signed with the Saints. So I would be definitely.
Did he actually sign? I know he visited. Did he sign?
He signed. He got a 1-year deal. Signed a 1-year deal, and I will be building him up as a superhuman as we close the season.
Week 6.
So
when's Ingram back? Week 4.
Week 4.
Right after week 4.
Week 5.
On what Kevin said. In these drafts, I actually still like to go with the 2 running backs early, unless a ridiculously good value wide receiver drops to me in the second spot. But I like to get the running backs because there's less of them to choose from. The wide receiver pool is deeper. So even if it was a deeper draft, I'd be looking at a running back here, and I would have expected Ezekiel Elliott to be gone at this point. And I'm starting to buy in to the Saquon Barkley hype. I really am. I just got my first share of him in a dynasty startup yesterday, and I'm starting to buy into it. I'm starting to think that he's going to be a legitimate focal point at offense, what the Giants need to balance that offense out. Unfortunately, Ezekiel Elliott is still on the board, and I'm going to take him because, we are playing for a little bit of money here. But if we were in any other position, I would go with Barkley.
So wait a second, just to be clear, because we're playing for a whole $5, you aren't going with Barkley? That
$5. You know how Sal gets with his money. He doesn't mess around.
I'm pretty sure if I win, I get $9. First of all, okay?
Well, that's factually correct. Yes.
So back down, Sailor.
So point, take it, get the point. $9.
I got it. You got it. I got it, bro.
I thought you were.
Simmer down, bro.
I thought you were going to go with the Saquon Barkley route, which was going to force me to take Ezekiel Elliott at such a great value. I know we keep saying, if this were a deeper draft, then I would go some other route. And it's, but this is the draft that we're in. And all these guys are still here. And Antonio Brown is sitting here staring me at the face. And I'm going to have to take
Hi,
him.
Steve.
He's actually, probably taller than you. Actually, he's not. He's very short. So
yeah, so he's probably not. And if I'm taller than him, what does that mean?
You can beat him up.
I can beat him up. That's right. Those are the rules. All right. So I'm taking Antonio Brown.
Pay anything to see that fight. Literally, I will literally. If anyone knows Antonio Brown, can we set this up? I will donate a lot of money to charity for that.
I mean, this might come as a surprise. It wouldn't be much of a fight.
No.
Shocking.
All right, so I'm taking Antonio Brown. And for all of the reasons that Sal just mentioned as to why he would take Saquon Barkley, I'm going to take him right here as well. After him, the other running backs that I'd be looking at are Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, Melvin Gordon, and then Dalvin Cook and LaShawn McCoy after that, according to this draft ADP. And so I like Saquon Barkley. I am, as opposed to Sal, who is saying this $5 wager that we have put into this match, that he's got to go all out and get only the best players. I'm going to go take players that are fun, that I don't necessarily think that I'll have on most of my teams throughout the year, and that if they go off, at least I beat you guys. So that's going to make me happy. I'm taking Saquon Barkley. He is the running back that I would take in this order anyway. I would take him above the rest of the guys that are available. So I've got him.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And Antonio Brown.
I don't disagree with that for sure. I have him above Hunt. I might even have him above Kamara at this point. I know Kevin's a Kamara guy, but I might have him above Kamara, Hunt, Barkley. I'm buying in. I'm starting to get the. That's me on the train. Anyway, I am up. I have two running
stutters.
backs, and on the board is a guy who a lot of people think might be moving past Antonio Brown. That's DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm going to grab DeAndre Hopkins at this point. That is bypassing Kareem Hunt, who is got a higher ADP than him, and I'll leave that for Kevin.
Yeah, I'm not going to go with Kareem Hunt here because
you just grab two running backs.
Yeah, I already have two running backs, so I'm good on the running back for now. And I know that I know there's a lot of concern over whether or not Odell Beckham's going to get a contract and whether or not he's, a head case and all of that.
He's done, Kevin. He's done.
Yeah, I'm sure he is, Sal. But I'm still going to take that risk on a guy that has been the best wide receiver in the league outside of last year when he was injured. So I'm going to go ahead and easily select.
Good spot for
Odell
Sterling
Beckham.
Shepard right here, Kevin.
Yeah. Oh, back. You think I should, make sure I cover my risk there?
I think you want to go ahead and try and get all New York pass catchers.
Right.
Regardless of team. Jets, Giants, either one.
Oh, okay. So just stick with New York. I get it.
Yes.
Nope. I'm actually going to go with the Julio because another guy who, although in a lot of dynasty circles seems to be falling for some reason, people think he's a little older and can't really do it anymore. The guy had 1,400 yards last year, and I know he doesn't get the touchdowns, but
he's going to have more this year than last year.
He will have more this year than last year. So definitely, I like the addition of Calvin Ridley into that offense. I think it takes a little bit of pressure off him, and I think that it'll help him be even more effective when he's on the field. Julio Jones is my pick here.
You really know how to hurt a guy, don't you?
Yeah, the best part about those two selections are those are the wide receivers I know Sal was targeting. So,
yeah, this is good. This is good. Sal being the second pick is
great. Yeah,
it's working
really
out very well.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't have any wraparound, you sons of bitches.
It's not normal.
So
maybe you put the phone down and make a pick here, and think it through.
I'm doing a draft. I'm on my phone.
Well, you're texting.
That's the cool thing about the draft app.
Okay, I'm not texting. I was actually looking up the ages of Julio Jones and Antonio Brown because they're born in the same year, and I want to see what the months were in that. But they're the same age, and I know you pointed out yourself. People are like, "Oh, Julio Jones is old." He's not old. He's the same age as Doug Baldwin. He's the same age as Antonio Brown. He's younger than Demaryius Thomas. I think Emmanuel Sanders is older than Demaryius Thomas, so he's younger than him. People using that age excuse, it's just so stupid. Julio's going to be fine. Julio performs every year. He may not score you the touchdowns, but idiots.
You're going to want to have him the year that he does score the touchdowns.
Yeah. So, all right. I mean, if all things were considered here equally, and Dalvin Cook
as they should be.
And Dalvin Cook did not leave with the injury that he left with last year, I'd be looking at Dalvin Cook here over Leonard Fournette and over even Melvin Gordon. But I am not going to take him over Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is an excellent value here, and I am going to get him, even though I only have one wide receiver. This takes care of my flex, and I have a stud front line of Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, and Kareem Hunt. Bring it.
For all of you out there, just be wary that all of those guys are going to now get injured. So,
what kind of shit is that to say?
Yeah, that's rude.
I feel like Sal has a little bit of a jinx sometimes. So,
I don't know if you noticed I won a FLAFFL league last year.
I heard about that.
I was there. Do you have a trophy to prove that?
I have nothing to show for it. I have this mug.
Hey, did you hear about the year that I won it?
Yeah, everybody heard about that.
I don't think anyone knows about that.
No.
Oh, that's right. The first year when we gifted the commissioner of the league because he was the commissioner and we felt bad.
That's right. Kevin, I don't remember the year you won it.
That's fair. I have come in second place, and
that's pretty good. It's not
good.
bad.
It's
not bad. All right.
Second place, first loser.
Well, I'm going to take a couple wide receivers here because I've already got my two running backs. Hey, thanks there, Sal. I'm going to take one, Michael Thomas. He is the best wide receiver I feel as available on the board right now. He has looked good so far in training camp or in camp or OTAs or whatever the hell they're doing right now. I try not to put too much stock in that, but they're saying that he's dominating pretty well. He's been great his first 2 years in the league. I don't think that's going to slow down at all. I think that he's going to continue doing what he has done.
Nobody gonna break up my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down.
Dear
Oh
Lord.
no! I thought I had it on mute. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was good. That was good. You helped me out. And then I don't know. This is going to be a weird. I don't know. You guys probably aren't going to agree with this one. I'm going to go a little outside.
AJ Green. I could already tell.
I know
He's
who he's
going with
doing.
AJ Green. He took
did.
AJ Green.
Take AJ.
I did.
I
Green.
knew it.
I
Why?
like the pick, Steve. I do.
Okay.
I like the pick. I like the
All
pick. I think that a lot of people are down on AJ Green. I think he's definitely going to have a bounce back season. So I like it.
I took him over Keenan Allen based on the ADP for that draft has. So throughout all of their drafts that they've held, which they've been doing since, like Sal said, since January. So Keenan Allen is the favorite ahead of AJ Green, but I feel the same way. I think he had a down year last year. I think the Bengals offense as a whole had a really down year. They were awful. And so I think that he is primed for a bounce back. I think he's pretty solid for 5 or 6 touchdowns. And I think his yards, he's pretty close to 1,000-yard receiver every single year. So I think that Keenan Allen can do that as well. But I will go ahead and I will take the risk with AJ Green. I like him. And last year, it wouldn't have been a question. He would have been, far and above Keenan Allen. So
did you consider the guy that Sal's probably going to take in Mike Evans?
Yeah, I think the only reason I wouldn't is because I think people are so down on him that you can get him at a value later on. I mean,
yeah, that's why it's going to be a good value when I take him.
That's what I mean. Sal's going to take him. Was my point. That's what I was getting at.
And that's
By the
fine.
way,
And I think
AJ Green.
I think it's a good move.
AJ Green also 29. It's the year of the wide receiver, 29 years old. No, AJ Green's the pick there. Steve, I don't have a problem with AJ Green over Keenan Allen. I think it's a little bit tighter for me with Evans. That's why I am going to go with Evans. But I think that Keenan Allen is also really solid. He's like a borderline top 5 wide receiver for me this year. He's right there. He's right on. He's not. He's like, hey guys, I'm not 29 yet. But I went with Mike Evans to add to my collection.
That is a solid pick here. Should we, as we move into well, I guess I should make my pick, and then as we move into the 6th round, maybe we'll do a little quick recap or whatever you guys think might be right here. I personally think that I'm going to have to go. So, man, very tough. I would have liked it if you had passed on Mike Evans. He was definitely a guy that I was looking at in that situation.
You brought it up.
But you make great points about Keenan Allen. The volume that he gets is spectacular. I don't expect that offense to change too much this year, and they really don't have any other options. Mike Williams might be healthy, but I don't expect him to cut into Keenan's role at all. So I'm going to take Keenan Allen with this pick. All right, so let's run down here a little bit. And my team, 2 running backs, David Johnson and Alvin Kamara, Julio Jones, Keenan Allen, and Odell Beckham Jr. make up my wide receivers.
All right. After 5 rounds, I have 3 running backs and 2 wide receivers as well. And it's Le'Veon Bell, Zeke Elliott, Kareem Hunt, and then DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Evans. Smells like $9 to me.
Smells like $9. The fact that you know what $9 smells like makes me question a lot of places that you probably are hanging out.
The $9 that you have smells a lot different than the $9 I have. I guarantee that.
Yeah, this one is
no question about that.
A little tart.
Yeah, there's no question that your $9 smells different than mine.
Why are those bills all sticking together?
It's really just let's move on. Steve, who's on your roster?
All right, I've got 5 players as well. I've got 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers. I've got Todd Gurley and Saquon Barkley. I've also got Antonio Brown, Michael Thomas, and AJ Green as my wide receivers. So yeah, I won. Andrew Jackson joining us on the podcast tonight.
Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you.
To see you there.
Thanks, Mr. Jackson.
So this next pick
Good
for
job,
me
Steven.
is really, it comes down to two different guys here, and I'm a little torn on which one I should take.
Why are you still doing that?
I'm hoping that Steve's going to cut a lot of this out, because this is just terrible podcasting. All right, so I'm in between a couple of guys here, but I do think that it's between Melvin Gordon and Devonta Freeman for me, because I want another running back there. They're both guys that I would consider here. I know a lot of people are down on Melvin Gordon, and for a dynasty community, I get that, because he's people think he has knee issues, but he's been a solid producer the last couple of years. And as I just said, I don't think that the offense is going to change too much in Los Angeles. Devonta Freeman, again, same deal. The only issues with Devonta Freeman that I have are the injuries that could creep up. Roll, I think, is going to be stable, and I think he's a very solid producer. I'm leaning towards Gordon in this one, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull the trigger and take Gordon.
Los Angeles, huh? Taking the Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon combo?
Dak.
He likes the combo.
What's that even mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. It means nothing. It's just
I like combos too.
Everyone likes combos. If you don't like combos, you're not eating snacks correctly.
I like the better the pretzels than the crackers. Kevin, you said something about this being bad podcasting. Let me tell you, if you're listening to us for the first time, if you came across us, or if you've been listening to us recently or whatever, I'm going to tell you something. If you
do you think we're attracting new listeners?
No, listen. If you want to go listen, the numbers have been slightly up lately. If you want to go listen to the same stats being pushed out over and over again in a boring way, be my guest. But we like to have a little bit of fun here. We like to make it feel like you're hanging out with your friends and you're having a good time. Not that I consider Steve or Kevin a friend of mine. I'm just saying we try to portray it like we're friendly. We like to have fun here and laugh. And if you don't like it, please still download, but just don't listen.
And check out the Stepcat episode from last week. It was my best work.
Yeah, some of it, that's a sad statement. Anyway, I'm gonna. I need another wide receiver here, but I think that I could get plenty of wide receivers a little bit later, and there's some good value on the board still at running back. And for me, I still like hot garbage. I still like Devonta Freeman, and you got good young guys on the board and Fournette, Cook, and then you get to old man McCoy. If you're going to say to me, which older back you want more, Freeman or McCoy, and Freeman's not old, I don't know how Freeman's going behind LaShawn McCoy this year, personally. Clearly, Devonta Freeman for me in this spot, and I would take him over those young guys as well.
All right. I can't necessarily say that I would argue with that, although I did think that you were going to lean a little more towards Dalvin Cook, which is who I'm going to take right now.
It's one of my guys.
Yeah. I'm like I said, when we did the recap of the team, I have my 3 wide receivers. I've got only 2 running backs right now. I don't think you can have enough high-level running backs in these best ball leagues, especially, in the 3-team. Running backs are still a more scarce position. So to have guys like Leonard Fournette, who I think is probably one of the easiest guys that you could project getting, or for running backs at least, to getting close to 10 touchdowns, I think getting him is pretty nice this late. And then I'm also going to take Dalvin Cook because he's coming back from that injury. He looked great when he was on the field last year. He's going to be my 4th running back, so not necessarily, I'm not drafting him as my starter. There's a lot less risk in this type of format drafting him in, this 3-man draft. So I'm going to take him as my 4th running back, and I will just reap all the benefits of his great games. So back-to-back running backs for me, and it's back to Sal.
Here comes the Reaper. I'm going to step out. What up, bro?
Enough with the accents are just out of control this week. I can't even. Is it because you were talking about? Is it because you were talking about
Reaper, bro?
I haven't done the Mexican one yet, Kevin. So
See, now that's offensive. You're losing all our Mexican.
Now
listeners.
we have to delete the podcast.
Yeah, now that's it.
You're telling me my son just turned it off?
Yes. That's it.
I'm going to be the first one to reach out and take a tight end.
I knew it.
Draft.
I
And
thought
that's
it was going to
right.
be last pick.
I'm going to go with the number 1 tight end in fantasy football, Travis Kelce.
Oh, stop it. Just stop it.
Because he is, in my opinion, the clear-cut number 1 tight end in fantasy football because I know he's going to play every week.
Steve, write it on the floor. Gronkowski versus Kelce.
I've seen this on the Twitter. Sal is all over Kelce. He said it
I know he is. There's no question. He was all over him last year when he said he was going to be the best tight end in football.
See that, Steve? So when I wrote that on Twitter today, it wasn't like I made that up. I actually did say that.
Listen,
I just wrote down Kelce not playing 16.
Right, exactly. All injured team starting to form here, and I thought about going tight end here as well. Obviously, I think since you went with Kelce, I'm just going to have to do it just for the sake of argument here and take Gronkowski since he is the best tight end in football. So I'll go ahead.
Good that you did it because just to mess with you, I was going to take.
I knew that you were going to. So we've been doing this podcast together for way too long at this point. It's just.
This has just turned into a spite draft where everyone's just trying to pick the player.
Very quickly going spite draft here.
Tom Brady, Chris Hogan.
I'm with you on the McCoy thing, though, Sal. I'm looking at running backs that are left on the board, and I wouldn't mind taking one right now, but LaShawn McCoy is a guy that I'm going to be avoiding in a lot of these best balls because, for one, he is getting a little bit older. For another, that offensive line is absolutely diminished from what it was last year. They traded Cordy Glenn. They lose, whatever his name is, the left guard there that Incognito, yes. So
that's why you didn't recognize him.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Oh, man. I don't even know what to do with that. Yep. So I've talked about how big of a fan I am of Christian McCaffrey. I think that the floor, particularly in any type of PPR format, is very high for him. And the ceiling, I think, is higher than a lot of people expect because I do think he can run between the tackles. I know they brought in CJ Anderson, so there's a little bit of, he could lose some of the carries there. But I think he's going to get more carries than he had last year. I think last year he only had like 125 carries or so. I expect him to get more than that this year, which increases his opportunities. And I do think that he could be the type of running back that can catch 100 footballs. So as we talked about previously, if Cam Newton can just find a little bit more accuracy, I think that he's got that in him. So I'm going to take McCaffrey here, and I'm going to be very happy when he catches those 100 passes.
He should
the ceiling is the roof, Kevin.
Oh, it's the roof, right?
He should call up Andrew Luck.
They don't play in Luck,
so throwing some outs this week that were soft. They were delicate. They looked very easy to catch.
The ball whistled.
Smooth outs with Andrew Luck. Did you see the interview with Sean McCoy? It was either yesterday or the day before, praising Josh Allen and how phenomenal he's looked in practice and that he believes he has a great future and he really hopes to be around when it happens because he really thinks that he's going to be phenomenal.
That's a guy who's trying not to get cut.
Take Rosen, everybody. Take Rosen.
I actually look. I like Allen. Obviously not in this year, but in Dynasty, I'm higher on him than a lot of other people are. I think people have gone too far with him, and I down the list with him. I think that he's going to be a talented, quarterback. I think the key for me with him, particularly when you're talking about Dynasty format, is that his value is kind of stagnant for the next 2 or 3 years because he's going to get an opportunity. They're not going to move away from him. I don't think they're moving away from the coaching staff and the general manager right away. So I think you got a couple of years of built-in insulated value where he won't go up or down necessarily, even if he doesn't perform or doesn't play. So I think you got a little while to see how he is. So I like Allen.
After McCoy said that, the team announced that he will enter training camp as the number 3 quarterback.
Right.
So
they're also saying Nathan Peterman is the number 1. So I mean,
Peterman.
And they're also saying AJ McCarron sucks. So
Yeah.
Hey,
ADP,
Sal,
what are they gonna
grab,
do?
I don't want to
grab
alarm you,
him in
but
your eliminators.
you're getting close to your time limit here on the
I'm
clock.
down to 10 hours and 58 minutes.
Right, you better
Yeah, we
move.
got 10 more
Okay,
rounds to go here.
I'm gonna round out my starting wide receivers with a guy who I took in he was my number one wide receiver rather I took yesterday in a dynasty best ball startup, and I was actually surprised to see that he's only 25 years old because he feels like he's been playing for a long time, Devontae Adams. So Aaron Rodgers is obviously coming back, best quarterback in the NFL, number one wide receiver on offense. How could you go wrong with adding Devontae Adams?
Well, he could not do very well.
He could have concussions,
And then I would say that's probably not him doing.
Geronimo!
I would say that's going wrong.
you know, next round is a good round to take Geronimo. There, Steve.
No. Oh yeah.
Or Sal. Sal, I mean.
It's kind of tough. I don't know which way to go with this one.
Yeah.
Because I have loaded up all my running backs so far. I've got 4 of them and only my 3 wide receivers. I am going to kind of go out of order a little bit here, skip a couple wide receivers that are on here. I'm going to take Doug Baldwin, someone who I think is due for a pretty big bounce back. I'm taking him ahead of Tyreek Hill, ahead of Adam Thielen, who I actually want to ask you guys about in this spot. He is being drafted in draft best balls right now as wide receiver 10. Do you think that is too high? Do you think that is too low? Do you think that is right where he should be going? I just told you he's right behind Tyreek Hill, right ahead of Doug Baldwin, ahead of guys like Hilton, Cooks, Diggs, Josh Gordon at 16th overall wide receiver for some reason.
You know, I was almost going to have a problem with it, kind of, sort of, until I started looking at the guys and all the reasons why he's so much more reliable than those guys. T.Y. Hilton is obviously Andrew Luck based. If Andrew Luck was perfectly healthy and I knew he was going to start from day one, I would have T.Y. Hilton above him. I take him over Tyreek Hill because he's just not going to get the pass catching numbers that Adam Thielen's going to get. Brandon Cooks is another guy. Big play, inconsistent reception totals. It's very controversial between him and Diggs being on the same team. The ADP is alarmingly 29.6
like
for
they
Thielen,
don't get along.
41 points.
I mean,
no. Just that.
Well, I mean, when you say controversial that they're on the same team, I feel like
because people are so over the top in belief, either for
is it because
Diggs
he's
or
white?
Thielen.
Is that
there was no reason to do that?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, clearly it's a Boston thing.
We're gonna go down that route. Okay.
Josh Gordon, I don't trust to take ahead of him. Juju Smith, Schuster, I already told you. You get to Amari Cooper, I don't even want to talk about him. So I gotta be honest with you, I'm perfectly fine with him at that ADP, and I was almost gonna say I would take him, but I don't want to tell that to Steve because he's got the next pick.
I do.
You just laid out a great case for him, and we'll see what Steve does here.
Yeah, you've convinced me, man. You've got me, bro. You've convinced me. I am actually going to make sure that I get another top guy at their position. I'm going to take the first quarterback off the board. Not a huge priority with only 3 teams. There are lots of quarterbacks, but this late in the game, a chance to get Aaron Rodgers, I am going to do it.
You're blocking Sal from the stack. I like it.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with that because I discussed this on the Lost episode of the Bull Rush podcast last night.
Prove it.
My favorite quarterback right now, and I can get him even behind Deshaun Watson, is Russell Wilson, specifically in Dynasty, obviously. I'm buying up all the Russell Wilson I can get, and I'm going to take him now because I think that he is just think what he does.
Kevin loves
young legs.
Russell Wilson.
Well, he is now a member of the Sal clan.
He does have Tyler Lockett to throw to, so I guess you can't really beat that.
That's true. So there'll be some incompletions in his game. That's true.
Let's see. I have 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a tight end at this point. You guys both just took quarterbacks, so I think I can wait a little bit on that now, obviously. And
quarterback run.
You want to draft a couple more quarterbacks while you go around? That's fine. I liked the case that you laid out for Adam Thielen, but I don't think that he's the guy I would take here. Honestly, I like T.Y. Hilton's, particularly in a particularly in a best ball format, because I'm on record as saying I think Andrew Luck's going to be fine this year. I like his own teammate Stephon Diggs a little bit better than I like Thielen, although the numbers haven't really bear that out. But another guy, Allen Robinson, is another guy that I would probably consider ahead of Thielen.
Bears.
There's just other wide receivers here that I like better than him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little crazy, and I'm going to take another tight end here. I'm going to go ahead and grab myself Evan Ingram, which may be a little early, but I want to make sure that I have a solid tight end production, and with the tight ends being able to be used in the flex position in this format, I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and lock up the tight end position and take Evan Ingram. With my second pick here, I'm going to go back to the wide receiver well. And like I said, I talked about a couple of these guys, but I think I'm going to land on T.Y. Hilton because, again, he's a little smaller. Maybe I can crush him. I got a chance at that if I land
crushing your head, crush you.
So there we go. Evan Ingram and T.Y. Hilton are my picks. Sal, we're back to you. Yeah.
I don't want to say anything bad about Evan Ingram because I like the player. I just think he's being drafted high. I mean, obviously he's in the 9th round here, but it's a 3-team draft. I just think he's going higher than he probably should. But I think he'll have a good year. Can't argue with it. I like some of the older tight ends. I still like Zach Ertz better than him. I like Delaney Walker better than him this year. I think in Green Bay, Jimmy Graham will probably finish with a better year than him. So I think he'll be a tight end 1. I just don't think he'll be a top 4 tight end or top 3 as he's been drafted in this. So that's all I've got to say about that.
Anything to say about your own pick that you need to make?
You want to talk about your own pick there, buddy?
It's my turn.
I will use my time however I see fit. Thank you.
I have 10 hours and 58 minutes.
I'm certain we do have to move
filibuster.
We certainly do have to move this on a little bit because God only knows how long we've been on this.
Well, all right. I'll just quickly take Adam Thielen here since I said all that good stuff about him and he's still sitting there. I will add him to the mix.
That was probably a good idea. That was probably good. All right. So best available player right now, LaShawn McCoy has slipped down quite a ways. And
I don't know if you heard me talk about him before, but I said he wasn't a good pick.
Yeah.
Maybe he ain't been around in a while. Maybe you ain't heard. Maybe he didn't come up there and tell you, but
I do try and tune you out a little bit. But I am going to skip him, and I am going to go running back. I'm going to take Jordan Howard. I'm going to go on that train yet again another season. I don't, they got the new offensive court or the new head coach there. The offense is supposed to be, far and away better than it was last year. Much more passing, which is not his strong suit. I believe he's one of the worst catching running back with like a minimum of 40 pass attempts or whatever, something like that. He's been awful. The LASIK that Rob said that he got last year didn't help. Did not do much for him. So I am going
from Rob's doctor.
So I'm going to take Jordan Howard over these other two guys, LaShawn McCoy and Mark Ingram, who obviously missing the first 4 games of the season. I'm going to take Jordan Howard and get yet another running back on my team. And then for my second pick, I'm going to the wide receiver well. I am going to go ahead and go with Tyreek Hill. And a lot of people are excited about this offense. I don't know if I'm necessarily there yet, but he showed last year that he's not just a deep threat guy. He's not just a one-trick pony. He can get it done on all different levels of the field. He's a rushing threat for that team. So I like him. I'm taking him here, and I think he bolsters my wide receiver core pretty well.
I'm a pony. So here's the good news in this 3-team draft. I really would like to take Zach Ertz in this spot. But one of 2 things could happen here. I don't need to take him because Kevin already took 2, or Kevin decides to take a third one and waste a pick. So I'll put that ball in Kevin's court, and I'll take my man Derrick Henry, who we all know is the number 1 overall running back this year. But I got him as my number 5 running back.
I like that pick.
I was joking, by the way.
Except I'm a little concerned about Deion Lewis. I know that you do. I know that you want to poo-poo Deion Lewis, and I get it. I think they'll. I mean, I think Henry's going to get a lot of work, but
Steven Ridley
anyone
2.0.
anyone who doesn't think that Dion Lewis is going to get a lot of carries and receptions is out of their mind. Follow the money. Follow the
I
money.
just think they couldn't run the ball at all last year, so it doesn't really matter. One of those guys hopefully breaks free.
Well, they had a decrepit DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, who
On the footballers,
that
they said
great.
the lowest per carry average, I think it was like 150 carries or more in the league, was was DeMarco Murray, and then right behind him was Derrick Henry. They were both the same team.
Sounds about right. All right, so I am up on the clock here. I obviously, as you mentioned, Sal, have my two tight ends. Probably looking to go back to the running back, wide receiver with these two picks. A guy that's staring me in the face as my fifth running back that I'm talking about at this point.
Looking in your eyes.
He's not looking in my eyes. He's not, but he could be because
It's disrespectful.
I've nice eyes, I think. So
You will always be.
But with the fifth running back, I'm willing to take a little bit of a chance here. This is a rookie, Darius Geist, who by most indications was the 102 pick in rookie drafts. Obviously, his draft stock is a little concerning considering he fell. But I still think that he had a great landing spot. I do not think that Samaje Perine or Rob Kelly are really going to take the reins of that type of job. So I think that he will get a lot of run, and there's value in volume, right? So I'm going to take Darius Geist here and give it a shot and see what happens. Like I said, with a fifth running back, if he hits, then I'll be golden. If he doesn't, no big deal. So
I'm on board with you with Geist. I've been grabbing him in the eliminators. I grabbed him in a couple of these the Scott Fishbowl mock that I'm doing. I think he's going to be a legit RB1 this year in fantasy.
So my next pick comes down to I'm going to take a wide receiver here, and I'm really torn between a couple of guys. The number one ADP guy on the list is still Brandon Cooks, although I hate the landing spot in LA. I don't think that he's going to have a great season. Stefan Diggs is after him. We talked about him a little bit. I do like him this year, but I'm actually between.
Oh, but he's taking Amari Cooper. I know
it. Amari Cooper is one of the guys that I'm looking at. Allen Robinson is a guy that I do expect to have a big year this year, and I like him in that offense. I like him being the number one focal point again. I think he's going to be fine coming off the injury. So he's the guy that I like here. But actually, I'm going to take
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald's the other guy that I would consider. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go with Allen Robinson though.
Well,
interesting pick. I thought you were going to go Cooper there. I know you're high in the Coop.
I do like myself some Cooper.
Well, while you said Josh Gordon and Jarvis Landry is about 7 spots behind him. Who is it for you guys there this year? It's Jarvis Landry for me out of those two, especially in the PPR leagues. Who would you prefer to have?
Jarvis Landry or Cooper?
No, Jarvis Landry or Josh Gordon.
Try to pay attention to the show.
Gotta listen. Gotta be listening. Listen, idiot. Yeah, I would. Yeah, PPR for sure. Jarvis Landry. Josh Gordon's close. Josh Gordon, I hold near and dear to my heart. He helped me. He helped me out back in 2015.
Score you some weed.
Yeah, he had a tough spot.
I think it's super close for me as well. I give Landry the edge, but the reason I didn't pick either of them is because I'm very concerned that I have no idea what's going to happen with that offense. It could be either of those guys. We could see Njoku break out. We could see Corey Coleman come back to life. There are so many weapons in Cleveland offense. And on top of that, we don't even know who the quarterback's going to be. Is it Tyrod? Is it a combination of Tyrod and Mayfield? Does Mayfield win it in camp? So
there's a couple of things that come out in their mini camp this week has been that it's clearly Tyrod right now. And that Mayfield has a long way to go. But again, you have an entire training camp to go. So right now, I think you probably should expect that it's going to at least be Tyrod to start the season. Coleman and Gordon are running on the outside and Landry playing in the slot. I like Njoku this year, Kevin. He's the guy I find myself grabbing a lot because I'm waiting on tight end, and he's consistently there when it's like, okay, I've waited long enough, and I'm liking the value I'm getting on him because that kid's athletic. He really is an impressive pass catching tight end. So there is a lot of mouths to feed there. So I don't know that anybody's going to be a super great value this year, but I think the points are well made for that offense. That leaves me. I'm up, right? Yeah, it leaves me to be able to get Zach Ertz here, add him to my winning tight end combo with the number one tight end, Travis Kelce.
Foul.
You waited so long, Steve.
I waited too long.
One pick
For
too many.
so long.
I'll be all right. Now that you guys got all these tight ends, huh? Right? Am I right? Am I right? I think I'm going to pass on them. I'm sure you will. Guess what?
You know, Kevin, Steve just texted us that we got to move because it's 8 rounds and he's over here with the jibber jabber.
Right? I mean, the
8 rounds. Over here with the jibber
around
jabber.
here and-
I guess this is my 6th running back. It's finally time to take LaShawn McCoy off the board. I think he's lasted up there. I knew it. I knew you were going to do that. Yeah. I mean, we know what he can do. We know the problems that he's had. You know, he's getting up there in age, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to try to explain LaShawn McCoy. You guys got it. And
Awesome, me.
I'm going to make sure I get at least one tight end that I really like, and that's going to be Greg Olsen. So
the old man
Olsen.
Old man
Couple
Olsen.
old men right there. There's the old man turn right there. Right, Sal?
that.
Old
Sal,
man,
that's called?
take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you.
Sal's older than both of them. Just throwing that out there.
Who's that now, son?
Can
Okay.
you make the pick, sir?
Come
I'm all
Come on.
loaded up at running back. I'm all loaded up at tight end.
through on that.
Let's go look at what we got on the wide receiver side. You know, this is the beauty of best ball and in a small draft. I could cover my tracks by taking Stefan Diggs and adding him to Adam Thielen. That way, on a weekly basis, whoever scores the most points in that Minnesota offense with Kirk, I love Steve Marcus Cousins.
That's right.
Wait,
they
Kirk
play for
Cousins
me.
loves Steve Marcus, or Steve Marcus
Yeah, he
loves
does.
Kirk Cousins, or
No,
both?
Kirk
is it
is,
mutual? Are you guys? You got all the
I
you got a
heart
little
Steve
thing?
Marcus button right on his jersey.
You got a little thing going on
He's
there?
got a patch. He's got a helmet sticker.
He's probably the only one.
Nah, the whole team's got it.
That means that my boy Cooper makes it all the way back around to me, Sal. So thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and take your Raider, and I will be happy with that. I'm going to take another chance here as well on Juju Smith-Schuster. Because when Antonio Brown gets hurt because Sal drafted him, then I'll have the number one wide receiver in a very, very pass-heavy offense.
Steve took him.
I drafted him.
Sorry. All right. So maybe he'll make it through. But I do think Juju has shown that he can be, a top tier wide receiver. I think some people are putting him in the wide receiver 1 category. I think that's a little aggressive. But I do think wide receiver 2 is a pretty good spot for him. And to get him here as my wide receiver, 7? I think I'll be happy with that.
That brings me back up now, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
At home, yes, that would be Sal's pick. Sal, who are you taking?
Well, Kevin, I can see by looking quickly at your roster just by tapping on your logo that you have not taken any quarterbacks.
That's correct.
Well, that's fine because there's plenty to choose from. But I'm going to pass on. I can't believe that Deshaun Watson will come back and pick up the pace that he was on last year. Good, but that's a high pace. And he would go greatly with my number one wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. But I'm going to pass. I'm also going to pass on old man Brady. And I'm going to go with the guy who helped me win me the FLAFFL championship last year. And that is Cam Newton. He's hated by many, but every year he finishes very high and helps me do well in fantasy. Cam Newton, welcome to the fold, sir.
Hey, did you know he gives footballs to little kids?
He's a good man. He's a quality human. I'm going to go out and say Steve's going to take Walker. You going to go Walker on this one?
Good guess.
Well, that's a great guess considering he already made the pick.
And then
you're the best in the business. There's no question about that.
I know. That's
I don't know how to read.
I don't know how to read.
All right. So since I waited on the tight end, I took another one in Delaney Walker, and then I got a double up at quarterback here. So sorry, Kev. Sorry.
Oh, come on. You taking my boy?
You know it.
You
That's
can't
my
just
draft.
sit around not taking people and expect them to be there for you.
That's
Yeah.
all right. I think I'm not that worried about it yet.
The Garops is still there.
The Garops is still there. That's right.
That's right.
JGQ still around. So I'm not worried about it.
Since we have reached the spiteful portion of the show, I'm just
Oh, you're
reach
going to do
out.
it? I don't
Take
think.
Larry Fitzgerald. We'll take Larry Fitzgerald with this pick here.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
So you can spite take Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald is your guy, I think, right? Just
He's kind of my guy.
89.
He is a guy.
Right, 89%.
He's a
of the
guy,
league.
and he's now on my team.
Yeah. No, I think that this is a good spot for me to take a guy that it gives me a little bit of insurance, even though he's going to miss a couple of weeks. I'm not that worried about it as far as
Terrence West.
Yeah, Terrence West. Mark Ingram is a guy that I can take here. I'm not too worried about either of you guys taking him, but I still want to make sure I lock up that spot. So I have him there. And, now I know I have that New Orleans backfield, even though like I said, the 4 weeks. So I'm happy with that. For my next pick, this is a tough one. I know both of you guys have quarterbacks, but I wouldn't put it past you to draft a third just to spite. So I am going to go ahead and get myself my quarterback in this particular format. There's a lot of guys I could go. Jimmy Garoppolo obviously is a guy that I'm very high on this year, but I'm going to go ahead and take Drew Brees and get myself some more Saints.
Yeah, you in
Nice.
love with Nolans.
You know what's
I
nice
think that-
about these type of drafts? Go ahead, Kev.
No, I was just say I think that New Orleans is that offense is in for a rebound this year. I think Drew Brees is going to seem like the Drew Brees of old and throw a bit more touchdowns this year. So I think he gets back on track in one of his final years going for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was talking with someone the other day about division winners. I got New Orleans winning that division. I think it's led by the offense. Obviously, the defense was better than it has been in the past last year. So I think they're well-rounded, and I agree with you. But Drew Brees is Drew Brees. That last year was basically a hiccup, the outlier.
Steve,
I think
write
that-
down? Can you write this day down? Sal agreed with me. Just can you write that down? Just for
It's Thursday.
6:14.
Okay, thank you.
There's certain things that we all know about each other, and one of them is I know Kevin will not take Joe Mixon. So I knew that he was going to be there for me when it came back around. So to round out my running backs, I'm going to add old face puncher to the roster.
Oh, come on! I don't know that's.
There's enough time.
No one calls him that.
Oh, it's okay now. It's okay to
Yeah,
say
it's
that
like
now.
you got like a 2-year win buffer or something like that. So
That
girl's got money. No, I don't condone
Yeah,
it.
there's
I'm
a-
joke.
Come on.
I don't condone it at all. That was a horrible, horrendous thing to watch. It makes me nauseous every time I see it. But he's playing in the NFL, and I have a chance to win $9.
Steve, would you like to make your
Wow.
picks? Can you just?
I probably should.
Yeah, I would say that's at this point.
All right. Well, Brandon Cooks is still hanging out. He's still pretty good, right? Brandon
That's
Cooks.
nice.
Brandon Cooks. I'm going to take him. Best ball is the format made for Brandon Cooks.
Agreed.
And getting him as my 6th wide receiver on my team on this offense, he just, new player in LA. Not that their offense show that they can pretty much do what they want. So give me Brandon Cooks as my 6th wide receiver. And yes, you're absolutely right. Quarterback. # spite draft.
Wow. All right. Like that, huh?
Steve took Jimmy Garoppolo for those of you listening in your cars right now. And Kevin he's got a tear in his eye.
No tears. There's no tears. It's a little hurtful.
So in these-
Steve. I didn't think
drafts,
I didn't think it'd be you.
well, yeah, it's true. He probably didn't think it would be me. That gives me the option to not have to take one till the 18th round now. And So we discussed this last year, and I don't particularly remember anything that you guys said. So let's refresh. I like to take 6 running backs, 6 wide receivers. I like to have a third quarterback. I like to have a third tight end. You don't have a chance in best ball to add someone later. And injuries are going to happen, specifically with quarterbacks and tight end. So I'm going to take another tight end here. That's the direction I'm going in. But I will be taking a third quarterback in the last round as well. So a guy who I know you both like and is still on the board is Kyle Rudolph. I'm not even that big of a fan, but again, we're starting to spite each other at this point. So on to my roster he goes.
I was going to take the Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle stack here for my last 2 picks, but obviously Steve thwarted that plan. I am very high on Kittle this year, but instead,
Steve's boy.
You make a good point, and I've kind of backed myself into a corner because I cannot get 3 tight ends and 3 quarterbacks. I do think that the quarterback position is more important. However, I'm pretty solid that with Drew Brees being on the field for the majority of the season, he's been a guy that really hasn't been hurt too often. So I'm not worried about that so much. So I am going to go tight end.
I know who you should take. I know you should take a quarterback if you want a good, reliable backup that always plays. Eli Manning.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll take that into consideration. Thank you for that. But
I mean, Deshaun Watson and Carson Wentz are on the board, but Eli Manning.
Talking about a reliable guy, considering he's my 3rd tight end, is this a spot where you guys would ever consider Jordan Reed?
I'm a Jordan Reed fan. I would take him. Absolutely.
Don't take him. Don't do it.
I'm assuming that's you're saying that simply because you would like to block. I am going to take Jordan Reed. Look, in a best ball format, obviously there's other guys that I would take, and I have Ingram and Gronkowski who aren't necessarily the healthiest of guys as well. But I think between the 3 of them, hopefully I'll get at least 1 tight end for every game this season. So we'll see. And the upside with Jordan Reed is just phenomenal. Going back to the quarterback, knowing that Steve has 3 quarterbacks, it really doesn't behoove me to take Kirk Cousins because that doesn't really block him in any way, shape, or form because he's not taking a 4th quarterback. So I'm going to go with the guy that I think will produce the most here. It's between What's that?
I'm going to take Cousins if you don't.
That's fair. I'm still going to go with the guy. For me, it's between 2 guys, Andrew Luck and Ben Roethlisberger. Luck in this format where I'm only going to have 2 quarterbacks is a little bit too wild card for me, even though I do think he's going to be on the field. So Roethlisberger is the guy that I will take in this situation. Wow. It was awkward.
No, I like Roethlisberger. In fact, we're in the FLAFFL Eliminator Challenge together, and you and I both agreed, Kevin, to go with Luck and Roethlisberger as our 2 quarterbacks while Steve was still asleep. So I'm good with that.
Not that we would have taken his input anyway.
No.
All right, so this is going to be my last pick of the draft, and I want to get my 3rd quarterback. So while I did not want to take him ahead of some other guys, Deshaun Watson is still sitting there, and he does have that upside and that ability. And in honor of Elliot Christ, I'm going to take Deshaun Watson.
All right, last pick of the draft.
We're honoring Elliot Christ. You should take Baker Mayfield.
Too late.
What do you mean it's too late?
No, he's there.
Yeah, he's on there. Why is it too late?
He's available.
I have no picks left.
Not you. I said, Steve, if we're honoring Elliot Christ, you should take Baker Mayfield. Steve still has 1 pick left. Listen, again, I'd really appreciate it if you guys would pay attention to the show.
If it wasn't for $9, I might. But all right, $9. This is a guy that Sal had mentioned a little bit earlier. I have Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking a 3rd tight end. I'm going to take Jimmy Graham. No more Jordy Nelson there, who was a favorite red zone target for who who was a favorite red zone target for Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams still going to get some red zone looks, but Jimmy Graham should get some red zone play. And for tight ends, that's what you want. You want touchdowns. So finishing off this draft with Jimmy Graham, I won. Podcast over.
All right, to recap, Drew Brees and Ben Roethlisberger are my quarterbacks. I have David Johnson, Alvin Kamara, Melvin Gordon, Christian McCaffrey, Mark Ingram, Darius Geis as my running backs, with Julio Jones, Keenan Allen, Odell Beckham Jr., T.Y. Hilton, Juju Smith-Schuster, Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson as my wide receivers. Gronk, Ingram, and Reed are my unhealthy tight ends, and I won.
Nope. I'm just posting my team tomorrow. We should put a poll out.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's smart. You're smart, Steve. Sometimes
Thanks.
you're smart. Why don't you just
got me on a good night. All right.
Can you edit out where I read my team? That'd be nice.
Sure, gladly. Anything else you want me to take out for the show?
Take out the
time,
pieces in the trash.
If you can stop Sal from singing or saying brah.
Every bra is getting in here tonight.
Every bra needs to be taken out.
I'm gonna have to take out the showing of the historical presidents that we have on our monetary value. That's gonna have to get removed. All right.
Kevin's head was down during that whole bit, by the way. Kevin didn't see any of that.
In shame. It was in shame.
It was shame, yes. Yes.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode.
Andrew Jackson's back up on the screen.
FLAFFL House Fantasy Football Podcast can probably throw the ball further than Andrew Luck.
Ooh.
Not sure how it's possible, but think about it.
They didn't have balls back then. Come on.
They had high school size balls, though. Find us on the internet, Falafel House. Just look around. The internet. It's an amazing thing.
That's it.
That's all.
Great. Steve's final thought. The internet. Let's hear what you got, Sal. Please be better.
If anybody's still listening at this point, this will be the first time I'm saying it in public. Steve asked this today, so I have reached out to Scott. I had come up with an idea that we should do a 24-hour podcast / telethon in honor of the Scott Fish Bowl, and we're going to look to raise money for Fantasy Cares. So what we will be doing on July 9th, which is when the Fish Bowl kicks off at noon Eastern Standard Time, we will come on the air at 11 o'clock, 1 hour before, and we will take you 24 hours from 11 o'clock on Monday morning to 11 o'clock on Tuesday morning. And I've reached out to a few people. I've spoken to a few people, but podcasts, sponsors, we are looking for 24 people to sponsor each hour. Reach out to me, DM me, contact me, and we'll discuss what entails you sponsoring, your donation to Fantasy Cares, and possibly a prize to give away to a fan that donates during the hour that you sponsor. It's going to be a lot of fun. We want to welcome you to come on during the hour that you sponsor, and it's just going to be a great celebration of what Scott does, and of course the thing that Kevin loves most, which is Kevin.
Oh,
charity, Kevin. It's charity.
Charity and fantasy.
Well, you made it seem like it was, it wasn't charity, that it was, me.
I'll tell you what. I write a lot of coattails. This is a good one.
Yeah, so that's a good idea that you came up with here. And I believe, I don't want to speak for anyone here, but I believe that we will be broadcasting it through Google Hangouts while YouTube Live. So we'll be able to get the link out there so people can come and go on the chat, and they'll be able to talk to us. We'll be able to look through that, and we might be able to figure out some other ways to communicate with you all while we're podcasting. Steve, you look tired already. We haven't even...
You know what? I'll tell you what. I was on vacation last week. I work very early in the morning. I'm a West Coaster. I wake up at 3 a.m. To go to work, which is just normal time for you guys. But it's early. It's early out here. And getting back into the swing of my working shift after 9 days of being able to sleep in, it's taking its toll on me. Plus,
24-hour podcast, am old. Are you gonna make it? There might be a solid couple of hours where Steve's just asleep at the computer.
So that's what the drugs are for.
All right. So for my final thought, I really don't have anything else. Support Fantasy Cares. Go to fantasycares.net and definitely, get in touch with Sal. sponsor an hour. It'll be well worth it.
Hit me up on Twitter at LetoSal, LETOSAL. DM me, or you can reach us at falafelhouse@gmail.com.
Also, if you want to make a pledge to Fantasy Cares, you can pledge a certain amount of money, and Steve will wear whatever you want for an entire hour. So
that is, you know what? That is good. We're going to come up with things like that. And
what
we do is we're going to set up
a
spot. We're going to set up a spot for all the money that day to be sent, so we could send it to Scott in one big lump, and then say thank you to everybody who helped out that day. Yep. So definitely be in touch. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We'll get that together. Steve, get your outfits ready, because I'm sure people will come up with some clever things for you. And until then, why don't you go ahead and hit the button? Maybe you could wear the button.
Only the button?
And good night.